Integrated Technology Olympiad is an effort of Rotary Club of Pune Pride, College of Engineering Pune, the Virtual Lab Consortium at College of Engineering Pune and A4 Technologies.
We all know that there is a big gap between the required skilled workforce by the industry and output provided by the educational institute. This gap is going to be increased because as the economy grows, the requirement for the skilled workforce is going to get increased. Currently, 70% of the students after their first degree fail to get on-campus jobs. Only 25 to 30% students make these jobs. Some of the educational institutes even struggle to achieve this goal. Why does this gap increase? There are different academic reasons as well as industrial reasons to it. I am going to present industrial perspective.
The industrial world is looking at budding engineers for certain competencies. One is very strong fundamentals. The second, of course, is the certain amount of creativity which he or she must have learned through engineering subjects. The third nowadays is the proficiency in IT, because without IT skills, nobody can survive nowadays in industry. The fourth one is, of course, the innovation and the attitude towards solving the problem. The fifth one is learning to learn skills. As we all know, the technologies are changing very fast, and whatever an engineer has learned in his curriculum may not be available when he starts his professional life. The sixth one is, of course, the most important aspect nowadays is a good human being. For gathering information for this Integrated Technology Olympiad, we come across with many industries. We talk to them, we discuss with them, we had one-to-one sharing of thoughts, and we came out with a huge list of expectations by the industry from our students. And these expectations are the quality norms like adaptability, analytical skills, commercial awareness, the communication, decision making, flexibility, initiative, innovation, IT skills, leadership, negotiation in a right way, networking, numeracy skills, organization, problem solving, research, teamwork, and time management. If you look at this list, it's a huge list which is in the form of an expectation. But if you look at the current education system, how best we are fulfilling these things? How? Through our outcome-based education system, we have something or other as regards to these parameters. It's very interesting to see what's happening in educational institutions today and map these expectations one-on-one as far as the curricula is concerned. What are the issues being faced by educational institutions? As you all know, the first point is either outdated or rigid curricula, wherein the absence of employer engagement in course content and skills development. On paper, there is an involvement of industries while designing the curricula, but the seriousness with which the curricula is being designed and implemented is a big question mark. The pedagogies and assessment are basically focused on rote learning. Now, this is a perennial problem as far as Indian education system is concerned. We will have to change because the world around us is rapidly changing. We have to develop the
wider range of transversal skills, including critical thinking, analytical reasoning, problem solving, and collaborative working. Today, these are totally neglected. One of the reasons might be high student to teacher ratio and separation of research and teaching. Unfortunately, we said that research is different than teaching, which is not the case. Teaching and research has to go hand in hand. Then and only then the output of the system would be acceptable to industry. My colleague Mahesh Kulkarni would be giving an insight about industry expectations.
Anything produced in the industry is called output. Output is acceptable in the industry only when it adheres to certain standards, certain quality parameters. Quality parameters such as accuracy, consistency, reliability, security, efficiency, compatibility, compliance to legal standards, compliance to other industry standards, SLAs for professional implementation as well as support services. These are important quality parameters for output to qualify for consumers to use. Output in the industry must be accurate. Quality assurance and quality control teams spend a lot of efforts in the industry to ensure that it behaves the way functional requirements are mentioned in the functional specification document. Output must be consistent. It must behave similarly or consistently across different conditions across the time. Output must be reliable. It must work continuously for over a period as specified without failing. Quality assurance and quality control team has to certify it particularly when certifying the product. Output must be efficient. It must consume lesser or minimum resources as specified while performing its job to the required efficiency. Output must be secure. It must comply to all the security standards that are mentioned in the specification document. Output should be robust. It must sustain normal wear and tear when it is in use over a period. Output should be compatible. In many cases, the required output is a component, product component, which has to work with other components for it to give any meaningful use. In that case, it should be compatible with the other products in the industry. Output should be compliant with certain industry standards. Many a cases, government or even industrial bodies, they come up with certain standards with respect to reliability, safety, security of the product. Output should have legal ownership defined. An entity should take legal ownership of the product. People trust the product only when they know whom to approach in case of any concern with respect to the product. If academic product has to be as good as industrial output, then a problem definition of the project producing this output should consider all these quality parameters. If the parameters defined in the industrial project cover all these aspects, then the output has to be compatible with the industry standards. Academic institutions, academic projects should assume that the project output would be consumed in the industry or by the people. Hence, problem definitions should have all these quality parameters well defined in the academic project. It should be very clear in the problem definition the end audience or the end consumers of the product. It should be clear in the problem definition who is going to own the IP of the product. If it's industry sponsored product, then industry is going to own the IP. If it's educational product sponsored by the educational institute, then the IP will be owned by the educational institute.
This is basically an abstract from an article by Mr. Padmanabhan. You will find, and I'm totally focusing on small and medium scale sector of this industries. I'm not talking about MNCs. The idea is, if you look at Indian scenario, There are around 5 crore small and medium scale industries wherein 10 crore people are working. They have the share of around 38% industrial sector share. And in export, around 45% share in export. And they are facing a lot of challenges. One of the challenge, of course, is low cost of imported items. So these people cannot compete with the technologies of the other countries. There is inadequate use of technology and support which is being given by other industries or academic institutions. Of course, there is a scarcity of trained manpower because their major issue is to retain trained manpower in a small scale industry. The biggest problem which we have identified after discussing with these industries is there is no system available, a centralized system for their product promotion and problem reporting. If these problems are not being reported, nobody will work on these problems. And here is a situation where educational institutions are basically using or not utilizing 5 crore man hours every year. So here is a problem, and here is a manpower which is doing something which is of no use.
The most important aspect of project is a student invest 100 hours in his last year for project work. Now if you go nationally, you will find by number 5 crore man hours are being put in under this heading of project work. Now this project work, if it is done properly, professionally, with some aspects of attitude, it can change the life of a student. This is what we believe in, and that's the reason. In IT Olympiad, stress is now given on the project work. There are 3 aspects which we lack in as far as the project is concerned. One is most of our projects are theoretical in nature. In other words, just to complete the academic expectation. The second is there is no continuity in the projects. The last batch must have done something and that's the end of the project. So the next batch start afresh. The third most important thing is the outcome of the project is only writing a project report. And in most of the cases it has been found that this project report is either copied from somewhere or there is no contribution of the students, those who are working on the project. So it's nothing but mere completion of submission.
One side we have problems, the other sides we have expectations which are huge in nature. We'll have to solve this problem. We'll have to address these problems because student community is facing a lot of difficulties in getting entry into industrial world. Many reports have indicated that around 25 to 30% students are only employable. Not only that, those who are getting employed, the problems faced by them are numerous. Learning 4 years of engineering, if we still cannot become professional, if we cannot cope up with the expectations of the industrial world, it would be a frustrating experience for budding engineers. And that's the reason. To solve all these problems associated with the performance and enthusiasm of the students, we talked about and came up with a concept called as integrated technology concept in the form of a competition, IT Olympiad. Integrated Technology Olympiad is designed in 5 rounds. Round 1 is comprising of testing comprehensive skills related to expression, vocabulary, analytical and logical skill, as well as psychometric test. Round 2 is basically to test the fundamental knowledge of a student in the respective discipline and the domain. in which we have identified domains like mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, electronics and telecommunication engineering, instrumentation and control engineering, and finally computer and IT engineering. In round 3, the advanced knowledge in the respective domain of the students would be tested. After completing 3 rounds, a student will be shortlisted for assignment of a project. And this project is typically an interdisciplinary type of a project. So while selecting the group of students working on the project is based on round 1, 2 and 3 scores, the discipline of a student, and these students are geographically distributed. They will form a team, and the live problem statement which is being assigned or which is being given by industry will be given to those students. In round 5, the final presentation of the project ideas will be there in College of Engineering, Pune. It will be a good idea to understand how we encourage industry to participate in this project. We ask them to share live problems you wish to solve for your industry. But we want you to identify or allocate 2 academically oriented engineers who can spare minimum 2 hours per week to mentor the students. Now this condition is very, very important, because otherwise the students will just go in industry and will get nothing. And the third thing which we asked, and we were successful, is provide support for the group in summer as a summer internship to implement these projects or ideas or concepts in your industry. We are fortunate that 20 MIDC clusters in Maharashtra supported this activity. Now there will be a question in your mind how you can participate in this nation building initiative. One is, we want you to support in identifying core areas for the domain. For example, the areas which we have identified may not be fulfilling all the requirements. Probably you may suggest few areas. You may participate in preparing question bank, because we conduct online quizzes and tests for these students. You can even become a mentor for 1 or 2 groups, and I'm ready to share my experiences and the mentors which work for this particular IT Olympiad this year. You can review the executive summary of the projects submitted by the students and understand the depth of the project. You can encourage students from your region to participate in the quiz and in turn be part of this project activity. You can even participate in follow-up activities. Friends, let's understand that this is a nation building activity, and participation of each and every individual, either from industry or from academia, is mandatory. And we went ahead with our understanding how to do with this and how to go about it. One of the thought came is, can we have a consortium wherein academia, industry and social organizations will put their efforts together, and then they will come on a common platform. The other thing, of course, which is required is, can we develop a blueprint of a student so that whatever I like, I continue doing it, and not whatever comes in front of me. So it's something like not by choice but by compulsion. The third thing which we thought about is, there has to be a mentoring process using all the technologies which are available for us, like through webinars, through virtual labs, by giving challenging assignments, and ask them to work in a collaborative framework. And that's the reason we need to collaborate with industries and identified the live projects. The industries will of course provide us facility to test these solutions, and based on that, this is this entire exercise of Integrated Technology Olympiad is being worked out. As per this year's schedule, we started with the announcement on May 2016, and we have already completed successfully 4 rounds wherein the students have already submitted the concept papers. There are 34 teams which participated in this project, and out of them around 20 projects are selected for the presentation in the final round scheduled on 21st of January 2017 at College of Engineering, Pune. A very unique part of this Integrated Technology Olympiad is round 1. In the round 1, we wanted to test the students as far as their aptitude and logical reasoning is concerned. Under English, grammar and vocabulary, reading, writing and listening skills. And last but very important aspect is the psychometric test. This psychometric test was designed by the psychometric professor from College of Engineering, Pune, covering locus of control, Big 5 model and career anchor. If we look at the statistics of IT Olympiad till date, we will find that there are 6,386 students across the country registered for this competition. In various rounds, we shortlisted students, and finally in round 5, around 178 students would be contesting for the finale. The statistics of IT Olympiad this year: 6,386 students. This distribution is from all the states and union territories of our country. The students from various domains have participated in this competition.
It should be very clear in the academic project who is going to provide professional services such as implementation and support services for the product, because it should be assumed that the product is, when ready, will be consumed by the consumers and they may need these services. Like problem definition, for the successful delivery of the project, it is very important to have right team in place. Right team will have all the roles that are required to cater the product. Each role has to be played by someone. One can play multiple roles, but it is not desirable. If everyone plays individual role, then effect will be more impactful. Important roles in the project are customer, legal, writer, engineer, marketing and biz dev, and quality assurance. Customer defines scope of the requirement and science of the output. Legal ensures all the legal clauses, scope and the sign-off conditions on the output. Writer ensures proper documentations of these artifacts. BizDev and marketing people are required to promote the output so that it is consumed by the customers. Quality assurance and quality control ensure proper verification and the validation of the product as per the industry standards. Legal and writer roles can be combined in general. These roles are played by someone like project manager in the industry. Quality executive is responsible for demoing the product to the BizDev and marketing people, who in turn can create the environment to promote the product to the customer. Every role in the project is important. Even if one of the roles is compromised, the project output may not be successful and may be of a mediocre type. Legal or writers, they typically discuss with customers, elaborate requirements, document these requirements, come up with proper problem definition documents, Eventually, these people tend to become project managers, product managers, or business analysts as they grow up in the career. Once the problem definition is complete, next step is to conduct research. Research is series of experiments, also called as proof of concepts, done in a systematic way. Results are stored systematically and analyzed so that proper and useful insights are produced. Engineers typically do these activities. In the industry, timelines are very important, hence research must be done systematically to produce the output in timely manner. Similarly, in academics projects, it should follow timelines very seriously. Consequent to research activity, there is a solution definition activity. In solution definition, a research output along with the problem definition is considered to produce a solution. In solution, science and technology concepts, mathematics, resourcefulness, creativity, and good documentation skills, as well as communications, are used to produce an effective solution document. Legal skills are equally important to make sure that there is no IP or copyright violation while producing the solution document. Once the solution definition is ready, next step is to prepare project plan. Project plan is very important for the timely delivery of the output. It focuses on three areas: resources, scope, and the timelines. Project plan document also focuses on milestones of the project. Each milestone should produce something meaningful, something useful, and it should be working. Project could be very big, it could span multiple batches, multiple semesters. However, each semester, each batch should contribute to something meaningful in the product. So if you look at overall engineering project activity, it is a very important activity. It is the biggest conversion school to convert a student to a budding professional. It is the biggest platform to assess aptitude, attitude, team spirit, communication, time management, resourcefulness. Unfortunately, this initiative is not being taken seriously by many educational institutes. Hence, institutes are lagging in producing industry standard workforce. Many initiatives are being taken by social entities or educational institutes to bridge this gap. IT Olympiad is one such initiative.
If you are a faculty member from any academic institution, or you are working in an industry, or you are a student from any academic institution, please be part of this national level movement, IT Olympiad.